Thank you, Marlena. It's been such a welcoming collaboration, and I really enjoy working with Marlena and the staff here. It's just sterling, really, really wonderful experience. Thank you very much for coming this evening. Let's get this party started. As Marlena mentioned, or I mentioned, the Giant Head, the As We Are, has been doing wonderful things for the Convention Center. I'm very proud to be part of Columbus on that level. It has over 50,000 portraits on there, and there's something really quite lovely about being in the presence of people and interacting with it. It's with 50,000 people, I think it's a really nice statement of diversity and what we value in Columbus. And it's gone far and wide. It's nice to be part of Columbus in this way too. It's the newest sculpture in Columbus. This was drawn by Nate Beeler. And I'd just like to point out that it is a comic, but it's also beautifully drawn. So I think there's a lot of love in there as well. It's nice to be able to, go to parties and get introduced, and once the conversation goes to the Giant Head, it's always a nice way to start a potential friendship. So, and then also as a result, I've been appointed by the mayor to be part of the Columbus Arts Commission. So I'm a mayor-appointed commissioner. I'm proud to serve on that as well. So that was 2017. You might be asking yourself, what have I done for you lately? So, and it was a while ago. The press was amazing, and I went far and wide, and I got tons of inquiries from all over the world interested in bringing the Giant Head to an art festival or a commercial opportunity or even a science festival. And the response is always, well, it can't move. It's a stationary piece. And but I'd be happy to make one for your art festival or whatnot. And they always inquire the price, which I reply with $1.4 million. And that usually ends the conversation. So, while I'm very proud, it was rather frustrating to kind of see those opportunities come in the door and out the door. Here's a list of just some of the art festivals: TED Talks, NordArt, Santiago, Chile. Adidas wanted to put one of there in their lobby in Germany. That would have been cool, right? And in spring of 2020, I was invited to the Venice Biennale for architecture. And once they found out the price tag, said, well, no, but if you want to come to pitch to some investors, we would love to have you. And then all know what happened in Italy. So there was a moment where I thought, oh, I need to move on. And I remember the moment distinctly when I thought of the lightning sprites. And what you need to know in advance is that I collect solar-powered toys. I have about 25 or some. They line the kitchen, maybe more than that, but line our kitchen from our kitchen area into our dining area, and they're all over the house. And I have to thank my lovely wife, Stephanie, for allowing me to litter the house with these solar-powered toys. And the reason I like them is for a couple of reasons. They're very unique, and I'm not opposed to cute. They're cute, they're adorable, and they're also solar-powered, which means when the sun comes up in the morning, they start moving, and when the sun goes down at night, they go to sleep. And they do this. I've had some as long as 10 or 12 years, and they don't complain. They just get up and do their thing every morning, and something very delightful about that. I'm going to play you a little clip. So in the afternoon, when the sun really hits them, you can hear that little click-clack sound. And I think it's kind of comforting. It kind of adds life to the house in an interesting way. It's something when you come home and you can hear them, or when you're working, they just add a little life to the moment. So here we go. Ooh, not that yet. So the moment was, I was having my morning tea and staring out the backyard window, just taking the morning in, and it occurred to me that as much as I love these toys, there was a lot more potential in them, that I could take this platform, essentially solar powered, and use them for more fine art or open-ended purposes. They could be sculptures that are kinetic. And so I started drawing, and I kept drawing. I would get up every morning around 6:30 and just draw on my sketchbook. And you're seeing here just a selection of what I produced over about a 6-month period, maybe longer. And there are, you'll notice, they have a distinct cohesive language to them. And they're very much influenced by something that reflects our current society, which is the products and equipment and items that we interact with. So I love industrial design, product design, automotive design. If you know me, I love cars. So you'll see that influence in here. But you'll also see, I also love Dadaist art. It's kind of a punk rock art form. Also surrealism, which has, is a lot wider form than just the Dali pieces that you've seen. There's a lot of amazing surrealist work. But also, I've been a practicing graphic designer for about 30 years now. And I love how you can say so much with so little. So a lot of these forms are don't look at that. A lot of these forms are simplified. What can I say with as little as possible? So you might be asking yourself, you might have noticed that they're all red and white, and there's a reason for that, and there's a reason why they're called lightning sprites. One day I was, doing some research on the internet and came across an article on a newly documented form of lightning called red sprites. And the reason why they're newly documented is because they occur above traditional thunderstorms, and they only last for milliseconds. Here are red sprites. It's a cold plaza form of lightning, and like I said, newly documented, and it's just a gorgeous form. And what I liked about it was the fact that it's obviously been part of our world for millennia, but we didn't know about it. It was always around, we just didn't find out about it. And when I thought about my art, I thought, there's something natural about them, but also rather otherworldly about it that I want to portray. And so that's the red, and a traditional lightning bolt is the white. So all good things are wild and free. I'm about to show you 40 new pieces, 40 new artworks that I've been working on for quite some time. The drawings, I'll just tell you that the drawings, I hand the drawings off to Elliot Sanamo, who is here, yes. He does all the 3D modeling, and then I take them back and I render them myself, and then there's a little more to it, but I can't get into that at the moment. But are you guys ready? You're not ready. I'm going to throw this out here. So if you've ever been to a wedding reception where the bride and the groom are peacefully enjoying their dinner, and somebody clinks their glass, and then somebody else clinks their glass, and then everybody's clinking their glass, and the bride and the groom have to kiss. So I'm thinking, I don't want to hear a bunch of glasses clinking, but if you see one of these, I'm not going to go through every single one because you probably want to shoot me. So, but if you see one that you find interesting, just click your fingers, and if enough people join in, I will tell you something I like about that, or the meaning behind that piece, or who knows what kind of crazy stuff's going to come out of my mouth. So let's practice real quick here. 1, 2, 3. Oh, good. Your fingers work. That's good. Okay. All right, let's give it a shot. Okay. All right. You might notice in looking at the prints on the wall, or maybe the original actual Sprite sculptures up here, that they have a beingness quality to them. They look like they could move, and they're intended to convey that feeling. Anyway, they're intended to convey a sense of life. So I think they have kind of a beingness. Like I referred to earlier, the solar-powered toys have a sense of life. These sculptures do too. Oh, okay. All right. Wow, you guys really picked one. So this is a Christian summer camp that's kind of dilapidated just north of us. I would say that all of these pictures were taken last summer. I took all the pictures myself, and oops. I'll just leave it there. So that's a Christian summer camp, and I think the giant X behind there is really conveying a sense of questioning what's happening there, and yeah, you guys really picked a good one on the first try. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep going. This one's called Touching. It's actually based on a Isamu Noguchi piece that I really love. I consider these sculptures feral, and by feral I mean they exist in the world, but they don't understand the human conventions. So what they're trying to do is essentially understand who we are by our environments. Because, let's face it, humans kill things they don't understand. So they're trying to survive and understand and move forward in the world. Okay, so this one's called Phone Prick. And I don't know if older folks might recognize the old receiver. But also, you'll also notice, no, you have no idea what I'm talking about. You'll notice the cones on the parking lot. So what the sculpture is trying to do is understand the structure of the parking lot, because there must be a structure to everything, and it's trying to line itself up with the bollard and the cones. Still rolling. Yes. Okay. Good. So the locations themselves are, like I mentioned, they are all over Columbus and Dublin, where we live, and there is a process that I follow, and okay, this is a good one. Yes, Fritz. Yes, right. So, like on the traditional or the sculptures, actual sculptures, the red. Yes, on this one, the hand would move forward. When we lived in New Jersey, when I was a little kid, we had a creek in the back of our house, and there was a road right next to it, and I was jumping the creek and fell on a broken beer bottle. I still have the stitches from here to here. And there was that moment where, like, you stand up and I looked at my hand, and like I can see like bone. It looks like bone, right? And so here I am running home, like, So I got in, and my dad, who's here, said, "Ooh, looks like you cut yourself." And so And he wrapped it in towels and started bleeding through the towel already. And he said, why don't we go up and scare your mom? So we walked upstairs, and yeah, as planned, my mom freaked out. And waiting for me as I walked out the front door were 3 police cars and an ambulance. So that was a fun ride. I think you get some of that understanding of how to take a moment like that by your dad, or my dad at least, gave me a sense of like, hey, it's bad, but you're gonna live, kind of sensibility. So this one's called gagging, institutionalized. So here's a good one. All right. So again, it's about otherness as well. So they're trying to find their way, and I think because they're lightning sprites, they can appear and disappear at will. So this is part of the reason maybe why you don't see them. All right, so you'll notice on a lot of these, oh, did anybody notice things are starting to move? Yes. So on a lot of these, there is a circle with a concave interior and then a little divot or dimple in the center. And I call it a chimple. A chimple is essentially a chamfer, which is that little lip on the outer ring of the circle, and then the dimple in the center. So I invented something, it's called the chimple. But what the chimple actually is it is their way of sensing their, okay, intake. So this one is called intake, and who's ever been in a lonely parking lot when it's starting to rain? There's a very distinct feeling of walking out of your office building and just feeling that kind of sense of loneliness, but there's maybe something ominous in the parking lot. I don't know if you would interpret this as ominous or not. Yeah, but the way this one actually moves is the back legs move and it drags the whole front assembly with it. So it was taken up in Dublin. I drive around Dublin and Columbus, and I will, if I see something I like, all right, if I see something I like, I'll pause it here. If I see something I like, I get out of the car, I run over, I take a few pictures, maybe a lot of pictures from different angles, and I get it back into my car and I drive on before anybody can catch me. And so you guys look, what was the one drawing this? Let me back up just a little bit. Oh, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna tell you guys a story. When I was 16, I got my driver's license, like a lot of you guys did. And, you know, it's that kind of that feeling of when you first got your bicycle and you could go anywhere in the neighborhood. Well, a car was the same thing. You could go further out in the world. It's like my world opened up a little bit. And to put gas into the car, I had to work, and I worked at a donut shop. And on weekends, I would go in at midnight, 11 or midnight, and I would make donuts until, 3 or 4 in the morning. And I would come home at 3 or 4 in the morning, and one very crisp fall evening, the kind of cold evening where the frost has settled on the rooftops and the lawns, and it was a beautiful moonlit full moon night, and I'm driving through my neighborhood, 4 in the morning, and I stopped the car because it was so beautiful. I thought, oh my gosh, it looks like the moon hitting the frost made it look like diamond dust was everywhere. And I was just looking around, and I thought to myself, what if I turn off the headlights and just coast slowly through the neighborhood? And, everybody was asleep. I didn't think there would be a problem. And I just turned off the headlights and very slowly let on the gas and just moved through it. and it was everything I'd hoped for. It was beautiful. It was like the shadows were very crisp, and almost like everything had reduced to 2 dimensions, and it felt like a ghostly parade of suburbia unfolding in front of me. And I enjoyed it so much. At the end of the street, turned my headlights back on and started heading home. Well, it appears that somebody was awake, and so they called the cops, and suddenly I see the blue and reds coming up behind me in my own neighborhood, and he caught up with me about right in front of my house. So here I am meeting a police officer for the first time, and I remember the look on his face. He was like, "What the hell were you doing out there, kid?" And I said, "Well, the same thing I told you. I thought, it was just so beautiful in the light." And he looks at me like, "Yeah, okay." He says, "Here's your ticket. You're a new driver. You're going to have to take this with one of your parents and go to court. You have to go to court." And so I walk in the house, and it's 4 in the morning, and my dad's, saying kind of what's going on. And I told him the whole thing, and he knew, he knows I'm a bit of a dreamer, and I suspect he probably thought this would be a good experience for me going to court. And so we showed up to Akron court, but it wasn't like the cool court. It was not like night court. It was like a wood-paneled office with a metal desk and a judge behind the desk who looked very tired. And, after introductions, his first question was, "So what were you doing out there?" And, said the same thing, I just wanted to be out there because I thought it was so pretty. And I, again, remember the look on the face was like a mixture of pity with suspicion. And here I am, I'm like, I'm going to get a verdict here. And he's listening to all the traffic laws that why we follow traffic laws. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I really screwed up. This is a much bigger deal than I ever thought it would be. And I'm wondering, what else I could have done, or what I could have said. And after a few minutes, he says, "I'm taking your license for 6 weeks. And I'm going to put it in an envelope, and I'm going to mail it to your parents when the 6 weeks are up. Don't drive without your headlights on." Of course, I was a little crestfallen. Like I said, I loved driving. I still love driving. But I think it was the kind of thing where I just wanted to see something a certain way. And I was obviously getting a slap on the wrist. And if you haven't figured it out by now, these are representations of me, and they're in the environments that I'm capturing. So, getting a little verklempt here. So, I think art can be your friend. If you make art, you might know what I'm talking about. It's the kind of thing where if you tap into the underside of your emotions and your subconscious mind and draw it out, all of these things that I produced, I can look at them and I essentially am interpreting what's a little lower in my subconscious. It's things that I'm trying to work through. So, and it's not always pretty. I'd like to think some of these are kind of cute or kind of funny, but they're also challenging, at least to me. And that's where we're at. So I would like to tell you that well, this is an easy one, isn't it? Isn't that the? Oh, it was in a new development. They're developing all kinds of stuff around us right now. And this field full of goldenrods is going to be torn out pretty soon, and they'll have a number of houses built on top of it. But the feeling of a field, just rolling in a field, is just delightful for me. But thanks for asking. Yes. While these are art pieces, they're also visualizations. So all of these designs or sculptures rather are actually producible. So physically, you could build this. And what I'd like to do is to build them. Might see them the smaller size. I make them in multiple sizes, but all the way up to public art. And I'm here to say that Ron Pizzuti, the developer and wonderful art patron in Columbus, and actually worldwide known as an art patron, is interested in putting one of these very near the Crew Stadium in the next few years. So that would be cool, right? Yeah. So, and if I could plan it out just a little bit further, you'll notice that a lot of these, if you made them 20, 25 feet tall, there would be enough room to get inside of it. And I would love to make an art experience inside that you could actually go inside of a Sprite. And if it's large enough, I'd love to put a mattress in it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep going. So put a mattress in there, and yes, it's solar powered, and it's green, so you have electricity, you could heat it, you could run your electricity from it, you could include a small plumbing, and you could stay overnight in it. I don't want anybody to move in, but wouldn't it be cool to have an art experience too, that you could actually crawl inside the womb of a lightning sprite and just be with it? Yeah. These are what you're actually seeing as a sneak peek of these. You're the first people outside of my friends and family and close advisors who have seen these. And so what we're going to do is, starting next week, they're going to start appearing on my Instagram feed and other social media. And we're going to make a go of it. So they'll be available possibly as ethically produced NFTs in the future as well. I want to really want to shout out to Elliot. Now that you're all aware that they're animated, Elliot does the animation for all of these. So how about a little, yeah. He's an excellent collaborator, as you can tell. Yeah, I have a little bit more. I think these are two more. Does anybody want to know? I'm just going to walk through these. I love A-frame houses. My wife loves A-frame houses, and why it's teetering on the end of a ridge, I'm not exactly sure, but I just love those things. This is called iron, and one interesting thing about this is you'll notice that there's two of them, and the little protrusions actually match up. The holes match up, so when they close, it's like a little combination. So, and here's the final one. This one's called toppling. It's based on Brancusi's endless column, which is a famous sculpture that goes up, I think like 14. It's a very tall sculpture. But I'm making a bit of a comment on it by bringing it to an intersection, and that's where we're at with those. You made it through. I thanked Elliot, but I also want to thank my wonderful family, Stephanie, Beatrice, and Adeline, for, being awesome. And then also the Sprites. Aaron's not here tonight, but Aaron engineered the Sprites with me. I want to thank the gallery again for being so welcoming and lovely. Also, Josh Butts is here, and he was on the committee who awarded me a Denny Griffith grant. If you guys know, Denny was awesome, wonderful person, and that's what paid for part of this project, so thank you. My advisors, I want to first call out Tim Rietenbach, who's one of my, yes, He's one of my colleagues. He's one of my colleagues and an awesome artist in his own right. He's a fantastic person to have helped me out through a lot of these things. I have a wide collection of advisors here as well, and I want to say thanks for your feedback and righting the ship a few times. And then also Ron and Victoria and Wynn are here. Victoria and Wynn are here. Ron's on vacation, but they've been incredibly encouraging and in a way have driven this process forward. You know, you get a little encouragement, it can go a long way. So, and I have one more story. I was out visiting my sister in LA a few months ago, and for her 50th birthday party. And I did the same thing I always do, which is I take an afternoon and I wandered around LA, Venice Beach, and just took pictures. And I was in a questionable neighborhood, walking down an alleyway, and I just loved this picture, and I loved this metal shop. And I got to this image, and I hear, "Hey, what are you doing?" And this big, hulking, like Eastern Bloc Russian-looking guy comes out. "What are you doing here?" I was like, "I'm an artist." I said, you know, and immediately knew, like, I could be from OSHA or I could be from a, you know, an investigative kind of thing. "What are you doing here? I want you to take pictures. Why are you taking pictures?" "I'm an artist. I just wanted to show you what I showed him the picture I took. You know how, you see how the blue of the gate sort of combines into the stripe? I just love that stripe. And the patina, the way the door is aged." He goes, "So you're a photographer, huh?" He says, "Yeah, I just love this picture. I'm going to make some art out of it." And he says, "Hey, you want to take a picture of me?" I wish I'd taken a picture of him, but I was like too freaked out. But I think it was a moment that kind of like triumph where, you know, I'm confronted and it feels like that little kid. And I'm able to sort of rise above it with my guts and a little bit of my head. So thank you all again. Thank you very much. There's a lot of great art on the walls worth checking out, and let's go have fun, do stuff. Oh, the prints are for sale and the sculptures are for sale. We're going to try, yeah, so if you're thinking about it.